If you tell a car salesman you're a first-time buyer, you just gave them permission to rob you. Not an exaggeration, not a metaphor. I'm going to show you the line-by-line script they use to extract thousands from people who've never done this before. You walked in prepared. They smiled. They told you they could work with your numbers. Then they walked you to the finance office. That's where the game starts. The real extraction begins when you think you've won. The finance manager sits across from you, friendly face, warm tone, congratulations. Let's finalize some paperwork. You relax, don't. That costs you $2,000 in 18 minutes. You said $300 per month. They heard the ceiling. Now they're building a cage. You agreed on 48 months. The paperwork says 72. You agreed on 6%. The paperwork says 6.9. You agreed on 12,000. The paperwork says 13,200. Listen closely. They read page 1. They see the price. They sign. You just bought everything hidden on page 4. Once you sign, they own you. You bought a $12,000 car for $16,500 over 6 years. Here's the counter move. When they ask what you can afford per month, you say, I don't think in monthly terms. What's the total out the door price with all fees itemized? They pause. They print a different worksheet. Now you see the game. Documentation fee, $495. Negotiable. Theft deterrent etching, $350. I didn't request this. Remove it. They say it's already in the car. You say then you absorb the cost. Paint protection, $700. You say, show me the product data sheet. They can't. Here's what makes it criminal. That $700 coating, they paid $12 for it. 58-to-1 markup, 6 weeks lifespan. You say remove it or I walk, but you can't threaten to walk if you negotiate in their building. 3 hours invested. That's why you never negotiate on their territory. You negotiate from home. Get the out-the-door price in writing before you step on the lot. When you show up, you're inspecting. The pre-purchase inspection is your nuclear option. Any dealer who refuses is confessing. Frame damage, flood history, transmission failure. They know, you don't. You pay a mechanic $150, 90 minutes with diagnostic equipment. You walk away from a $12,000 mistake for the cost of dinner. Ask yourself this: why do they care if you get an independent mechanic to look at it? Their resistance is your answer. The dealer is commission only. The finance manager works on the back end. Front end is the car price. The back end is everything after. Gap insurance, extended warranty, paint protection. That's their monthly quota. Your protection purchase is their mortgage payment. The 30-minute test drive is your diagnostic weapon. They want 5 minutes. That hides everything. Check engine lights need 2 or 3 drive cycles. Starting the car cold, driving until operating temperature, shutting it off. That's 1 cycle. You buy after 1 test drive. You drive home. Cycle 2, you drive to work. Cycle 3, the light comes on. You call me furious. They say, sorry, you bought it as is. We can fix it for $1,800. Here's the protocol. Start the car cold. Drive surface streets for 10 minutes. Low speed, multiple stops. Then the highway. Accelerate hard, 15 minutes, exit. Empty parking lot, 3 full stops from 40. Hard braking. Check for fade, pulsation, pull. Drive back. Listen for new noises. 30 minutes total, 3 cycles compressed. If something is wrong, it'll show up. The salesperson will hate this. Good. Their discomfort is your signal. They'll resist. You say, I'll sign a waiver. If they refuse, you walk. You verified the price, you itemize the fees, you remove the junk. Now comes the signature. 4 hours in. Don't rush. Read every page, match the numbers, verify the term. Verify the rate. If anything is different, stop. If they can't document it, remove it. The Corvette lesson. I am 18 years old, 4,500 saved, dream car in reach. Got approved for something practical, refused it. 4 months later, winter arrived. Called back, money gone. No approval, still walking. Don't let impatience destroy your leverage. Your leverage is time. They need to close today. You don't. That's why they create urgency. This deal ends today. Another buyer is looking at this car. All lies. You control the closing by controlling the timeline. You say, I need to sleep on this, then you leave. If it's clean, you come back. If it's dirty, you renegotiate or walk. Go look at your paperwork right now. What's the total amount financed versus what you thought you agreed to? That difference is what just saved the next person. They ask what you can afford per month. Don't answer. That question is a trap. You say $300 per month. They just added 2 years to your loan. Still $300 per month, but now it's 72 months instead of 48. That's $7,200 in additional payments. You thought you were budgeting. You were volunteering to pay more. Monthly payment is a marketing number. You can't afford a $40,000 truck, but you can afford $600 per month until you realize that's 84 months, 7 years. The warranty expired at $60,000. The transmission will fail at $90,000. You'll still owe $14,000 when the engine needs a rebuild. The correct framework is total cost of ownership, purchase price, taxes, registration, insurance, fuel, maintenance, repairs, depreciation. Most first-timers only think about purchase price. That's 20% of the real number. Listen closely. 20% down, 4-year loan maximum, 10% of gross monthly income for the payment. Follow this and you survive. 20% down, because banks won't cover your taxes and fees. 50% down, the bank is lending $10,000 on a $20,000 car. Low risk, easy approval, better rates, your down payment is buying leverage. 4 years maximum, because depreciation and equity race. Longer than 4 years, depreciation wins. You're trapped. 4 years keeps you ahead, 10% of gross monthly income, because life changes. You lose your job, you move cities. If your car payment is 30% of your income, one disruption and you're defaulting, you make $3,000 per month, your payment is $300. That's a $15,000 car with 20% down. Not exciting, but survivable. If you tracked where your money went last month, you'd find the down payment hiding in delivery apps. You're spending it on depreciation, you can eat instead of equity, you can drive. $300 per month is a $15,000 car financed 48 months at 6% with 20% down, $12,000 purchase price, plus taxes, plus fees. $13,500 out the door. Total cash needed is $3,500. Most first-timers don't have that, so they compromise. 10% down, 60 months, 400 payments. Except insurance went up, registration is higher, maintenance costs increased. This is why the corridor between $13,000 and $15,000 matters. Under $10,000, you're buying someone else's problem. Dealers don't ask what you can afford total, they ask per month, because monthly is malleable. You say $300, they add gap insurance. $70 total, $1 per month. You say yes, then extended warranty, $1,500 total, $21 per month, still under $300. You say yes, then they extend the term. Now you're at 72 months instead of 48, still $300 per month. But your total cost just increased by $9,000. The silent strategy. You say, I don't budget in monthly terms. What's your total out the door price with all fees and interest calculated? $18,000 financed, 48 months at 6% is $21,400 total. That's $3,400 in interest. Total cost includes what happens after you drive off. Insurance. You're a first-time buyer, young, inexperienced, high risk. That $12,000 sedan, $200 per month. That $15,000 sports coupe, $400 per month. Same driver, different cars, double the insurance. Fuel costs matter. That truck gets 16 miles per gallon. You drive 1,200 miles per month. At $4 per gallon, that's $300 per month. Your payment is $300. Your fuel is $300. $600 per month. The sedan gets 32 miles per gallon, $150 per month. Over 4 years, you saved $7,200. But nobody tells you this. Why? Because the truck has $4,000 more margin. Your fuel costs don't affect their commission. Your budget destruction is their bonus check. Most first-timers have the money. They just spent it wrong. $4,000 saved, $3,000 went to eat out, $1,000 left. Now they're financing 90% instead of 20%. Skip the delivery apps. Stack cash. $800 per month payment. 4 years. $38,400 total. What else costs $38,000? A year of college. A down payment on a house. A wedding. Starting a business. What did you give up? Be specific. That's what you traded. If you don't want to trade your future for a car payment, again, subscribe. There are 3 more traps coming that are even harder to spot. The algorithm is deciding right now if you're serious about this. Stay locked in. Big banks see you as a transaction number. Local credit unions see you as a human investment. That difference is worth 4% interest and $3,000. National Bank. Your customer number 8,473,212. Credit score 650. No auto loan history. Algorithms see risk, denial, or approval at 14%. Local credit union. Human beings. You're the kid whose family has banked there for 15 years. They know your last name. Listen closely. The National Bank will never care about you. The local credit union cares because they're invested in community persistence. Start early. 15 years old. Open a savings account. $50. Make deposits in person. Hand the deposit to the teller. Say your name. Repeat every 2 weeks. 6 months. The teller knows your face. Attend their financial literacy workshops. Quarterly, free, poorly attended. When you apply for the loan at 20, that manager remembers you. That memory is worth 2% interest. Engage on social media. They post about community events. You like it, comment, share. You think this sounds like manipulation? It's reciprocity. You gave them visibility they couldn't buy. They're giving you approval you couldn't earn on credit score alone. The review arbitrage. Local credit unions have terrible online visibility. 20 total reviews. You write a 5-star review. Thoughtful. Specific. You mention teller names. When you apply, you're not just applicant 12. You're the kid who wrote the great review. You're cashing in relationship equity. The underwriter sees your application. 650 credit score. Thin file. Normally a decline. But there's a note from the branch manager. I know this applicant. Recommend approval. That note is worth 20 points. The underwriter approves at 11% instead of declining. The refinance leverage sequence. You get approved at 18%. You make payments on time. 6 months have passed, you call. I've made 6 perfect payments. Can we discuss refinancing? They approve at 12%. You just saved 6% interest. $900. For a phone call, if your cosigner lives at the same address, lenders reduce perceived risk. Approval odds increase. Credit score alone is insufficient. 750 score. 3 credit cards. Never missed a payment. Worthless for your car loan. Why? No installment loan history. Credit cards are revolving credit. Car loans are installment credit. The ideal cosigner has a completed auto loan. Paid off. No lates. Now you're approved at competitive rates. Parents and grandparents are best. Friends rarely work because lenders assume friends are less accountable. When's the last time someone at your bank knew your name without looking at a screen? You think you're choosing a car. You're being guided toward options designed to maximize their profit and your regret. You walk onto the lot, you see the vehicle, you feel something. Excitement, desire. That feeling is the product they're selling, not the car, the emotion. New car smell is a chemical spray, manufactured. They're selling you the fantasy of who you'll become. Instagram aesthetic vehicles depreciate faster. That sports coupe, worth $18,000 today, worth $11,000 in 3 years, $7,000 in depreciation. The boring sedan, worth $15,000 today, worth $10,000 in 3 years, $5,000 in depreciation. Style costs you $2,000 additional dollars. Insurance multiplies the vanity tax. That performance vehicle, $400 per month. The sedan, $200 per month. Over 4 years, that's $9,600. Maintenance costs scale with performance. That sports car needs synthetic oil changes, $80 per change. The sedan needs conventional oil, $40 per change. $480 additional over 4 years. The tires, performance tires cost $600, last 30,000 miles. Sedan tires cost $400, last 50,000 miles. $800 additional. Listen closely. Vehicles priced under $10,000 are under $10,000 for a reason. Mechanical issues, hidden damage, end-of-life status. The seller knows. The discount disappears when the transmission fails. That $9,000 SUV needs a $4,000 transmission. Now it's $13,000. Under $10,000, you're gambling. Financing $9,000 at 10% 48 months is $228 per month until the engine fails 6 months in. Now you owe $7,600 on a vehicle worth $3,000 with a bad engine. You're $4,400 underwater, still making the payment. Can't drive the car, can't sell the car. The corridor between $13,000 and $15,000 is the sweet spot. Major depreciation already happened. Someone else absorbed the 50% loss. This range includes newer safety features. Backup cameras became mandatory in 2018. Modern safety equipment without new car prices. Fuel economy in this range is better. That sedan gets 32 miles per gallon. The equivalent from 2010 gets 24, 8 miles per gallon difference. At $4 per gallon, that's $52 per month. $2,496 over 4 years. But this range isn't exciting. It's rational. The 3 to 5 year old Civic, the 6-year-old Corolla, boring, reliable, efficient, invisible. Your friends won't be impressed. Strangers won't look twice. And that's exactly why it's the right choice. You're not buying validation from people who don't matter. They pitch new cars with warranty protection. Until you read the warranty, powertrain covered 60,000 miles. Everything else, 36,000 miles, 3 years. After 3 years, you're paying for repairs. Who defines neglect? They do. Your claim gets denied because you didn't change the oil exactly per schedule. 200 miles over? Denied. That backup camera feels mandatory. People parked 70 years without backup cameras. It's a convenience feature marketed as safety. You're paying $800 extra for a camera that helps you avoid hitting things while going 2 miles per hour. The premium sound system feels essential. You'll use it twice. You're listening to podcasts. $1,500 for something you'll never fully utilize. Your friends see the car in 30 seconds. They say it's nice, they forget. You see the payment, 72 months. Their opinion costs them nothing. Yours costs you everything. And the person you bought it to impress, they'll see your car exactly twice. Once when you buy it, once when you're selling it. Both times, they won't care. But you'll pay for their indifference every single month. Who are you actually buying this car for? Yourself or the strangers who won't remember your name 5 seconds after you drive past? Drop a comment right now with the most ridiculous feature you almost convinced yourself you needed. Backup camera? Premium sound? Leather seats you never sit in? I'll pin the most honest answer. Let's expose the vanity tax together. They think first-timer status makes you easy prey. When you walk in, your first-timer status becomes camouflage. You walk onto the lot. First-time buyer? You say yes. They smile. Because they just calculated their commission. First-timers are profitable. Except you're not blank anymore. You know the tactics. You're playing dumb while staying sharp. The intake form is a targeting profile. Budget range. Trade-in status. Timeline urgency. Decision maker. You fill it strategically. Budget range? Leave it blank. Trade-in status? Say researching options. Timeline? Stay flexible. Decision maker? Say it's a committee decision. You just neutered their sales process. They'll say they need these answers to help you. That's a lie. They need these answers to categorize you. Once you're categorized, you're priced. Stay uncategorized. The cosigner weaponization reversal? You brought your dad good credit. Paid off multiple car loans. The salesperson sees him as the decision maker. You brief your dad before you arrive. When they pitch anything to him, he says one sentence. My kid makes the decision. I'm just the cosigner. The finance manager tries anyway. Extended warranty. 7-year coverage. They look at your dad. This would give your son protection. Your dad looks at you. You say, show me the exclusion list. You read it. Wear items excluded. Maintenance excluded. Pre-existing conditions excluded. Claims require diagnosis from their approved mechanics only. You say this excludes everything likely to fail and requires me to use mechanics you control. I'll pass. The finance manager just lost $800. But this only works if you brief your cosigner first. Educate him before you arrive. You don't need to know everything about cars. You need to know the right things. Total out-the-door price matters. Monthly payment doesn't. Term length matters. Interest rate matters. Fees matter. They'll try to shift the conversation. Let's talk about what you're looking for. You say, let's talk about your best out-the-door price on this specific unit. You're excited about ownership? Natural. They amplify that excitement. Their manufacturing vision. You're supposed to get attached. Once you're attached, you rationalize bad deals. That's emotional spending. The counter move is emotional distance. You're spending $12,000. That's serious money. You say, I'm interested in this vehicle at the right price. Not, I love this car. Interested at the right price, they create urgency. Another buyer is coming to look at this later today. This sale ends tonight. Fiction. The car has been on their lot 42 days. You say, that's fine. If it sells, it sells. Watch how fast the urgency disappears. Solo buyers get hit with subprime rates, 14 to 18%. You demand justification in writing. Show me the rate sheet. Most can't produce it. If you demand documentation, they reduce the rate. Suddenly it's 12%. Then 11, because it was never 14. Co-signed buyers get hit with fees, documentation, processing, dealer prep. You say itemize every fee and provide the service rendered. They can't, because the fees aren't for services. They're profit padding. Every person in that dealership gets paid when you spend. Nobody gets paid when you save. Their income is tied to your spending. Nobody is helping you. They're helping themselves. You're the revenue source, not the customer. They think you're easy, you're educated, they think you're excited, you're calculating, they think you'll accept their terms, you're dictating yours. So when you walked onto that lot 6 months ago, were you the customer or were you the product they sold to the bank? They're still waiting for the confused first-timer to walk through the door. You're not walking through that door anymore. You're the problem they can't solve. The buyer who knows the playbook. The commission they can't collect. Someone in your contacts is walking into that showroom blind right now. You were just like them 30 minutes ago. You spent 30 minutes learning this. Your friend is about to spend $30,000 not knowing it. Hit the like button if this changes how you see car buying. Share this with anyone shopping for a car right now. Not tomorrow, right now. Before they sign. Before it's too late,